Hello again. So if you followed the process of PI up to this point, you have extraction planets running. You have refreshed them, restarted their extractors every couple days if you set them for 2 days. And now this is the third cycle for me, which means that the storage is going to be full. So I need to go take my ship, fly to the planets, actually get the resources off, and bring them back home, hopefully safely. So again, just as we did with when we put our command centers down, we're going to use the epithal. So the epithal had a command center, storage center hold. It also has a commodities hold. So this is just a large 67,000 or so storage area where it will hold the PI that we pull off the planet. So we're going to go to the planetary industry. Since I've waited my cycles, these are all timing out, so that tells you nothing's running. These parts you can recycle from anywhere. You don't even have to be in space. So I can double click and restart their cycling again. Notice that they're getting a little full. So I'm going to click, start. You can readjust the location of your extractors if they're not in good high yield areas. This one's fine. So I'm going to start again, submit. We see it's running again. So I'm not going to show this for all of them, but that's all you have to do to reset them. But what I need to do now is to fly to each of these. And this is where the planning ahead helps. You don't want each of your things to be in a different system. Well, you'll be flying around constantly, you have a higher risk of dying, it takes longer, etc. I like to have them in groups of 3, because if these are full, you should be able to, into an epithal, to take out all the materials from 3 good extraction planets, and it's still all fit. You don't have to take multiple trips to this system. So I typically try to do mine in groups of 3. So I have 3 different extraction planets, and here's K4YZ, and then 3 in AQMO. So I'm going to undock. Let's go get these 3 first. So I know that this system, I'll set a desto, but it's only 2 away. So I have to go through LC first. And we're away. So you could haul all these directly to a factory planet. I tend to haul all mine to a central location, organize what I have, and then go from there. And then on a separate time, specifically load up my factory planets. So for now, I'm just going to collect the 3 and then go back to the Keep Star. One problem for a lot of people, especially if you've just gotten started, and this is the ZS overview, which is really common. None of these tabs by default will have what you need to warp to. So here, what you want to look for is customs office. If it doesn't have a customs office, you can fly to one of the planets, and then a lot of times the customs office is very nearby. Just right click it and add it to your overview. Because the process here is we are going to, once I get into the system, which I'm about to be, I can then double click on one of these and take the materials off the planet and put them into the orbiting customs office. It happens instantly. You don't really have to worry about, pretending how it works. No shuttle appears and takes it. You don't have to wait. But so here I want the customs office for planet 4. Find it there. Warp directly to it. And then I'm going to double click that one. And all my products have been routed to these 2 launch pads. So I'm going to click. I want to launch the materials off. All you have to do is drag it from there to there. And say transfer. Do the same thing for the other one. Launch. Drag it to the other side. Transfer. Sometimes you can do that too fast and it'll give you a little warning and say you must wait a second. So just wait a second and hit transfer again. Now you can close the planet. Notice that these are still running. The launch pads are empty, so they're ready for several more days of extraction. And close that. I've just arrived. You can see me coming out of warp. at the customs office, which is where my things are. So I'm going to click on the Planetary commodity hold because it has a lot of space, and then I will drag this up. There we go. Now I just do this for each of the other ones. During the flight time, if you learn to do this quickly, so here, going to 8, I'm going to launch it, warp to it, double click on it, restart my extractors. They're still pretty good. Start extraction, save, click, drag them out. All this time my ship is flying, heading towards the customs office. Close it. Still in flight, almost there. Once I come out of warp, I can drag it out and then head for the last one. So 9. Do the same thing. Restart my extractor. Submit. Grab the materials. This is also a good time to maybe evaluate a little bit how well the planet is doing in terms of how many materials you're getting. Notice this is at the end of a cycle. So it has extracted things, put them in the storage, and then the factory planets have pulled, or factories, basic factories have pulled the materials and are processing them to P1. But right now, after the last load, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the factories are actually needed. The others are not being used. There wasn't enough materials to run them. I'll talk about this more in the next videos down the line, but if I have a planet that is underperforming like this one, this is often where I will take, for example, these 4 factories and decommission them, and I can attach a couple advanced industry facilities onto this that will do my P4 production. So I can share this in a later video, but you can have, I like the idea of, instead of having direct pure P4 planets, factory planets, if you have underperforming P1 extractions, there's plenty of space and CPU and power to make this also P4 production. So we'll also show that in the more advanced video. So I'm here. Oh, I didn't pull the second one off. Oh, yes I did. Okay, I'm here. Drag it up. There, I've now got all 3 planets. And now just to fly home. You'll notice the fit that I use on the epithal is not one. It's just completely empty. I really tried fitting them different ways. And it's one of those things that if you get caught by a PvP ship, you just are going to get caught, and there's usually little to nothing you can do about it. So I don't really see the point in wasting the few million it takes to add things to this. I'm sure people can argue or debate that in the comments, but it seems to not really be useful. The one thing I might sometimes add is shield extenders and maybe an invulnerability, so that way if there are rats on the gate, since these align and warp slowly, that you can at least survive that. But usually, as long as you're paying attention and you don't just leave your ship in space, you align and warp off fast enough. So that's why you see these being unfit, because you just, if you get caught, you're going to lose it no matter what. Now remember, if you have more to do, you don't have to dock. Just warp to your structure. And then once you get there, you can deposit just by opening cargo deposit. You don't have to take the time to dock and undock again. Since I have another system to fly to, I'm just going to do that. Just fly to it, drop off, and then warp off to the other system. So that's really it for this video. I will have amassed all 6 of my planets PI in my system. So I'm going to open, just drag them in there, and transfer, and then head off to do the other 3, which it's just the same process again, so I don't need to show that in this video. But in the next round, the idea is that you've been doing this for a while. You've got at least a week's worth of P1 from your extraction planets, and now we will look into how to build P1 to P3 factory planets and then a P4 and see how the different options of that looks. So hopefully this was helpful, and thanks. Fly safe.